What is going on, everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with another video. And guys, free agency is right around the corner. Like 6 or 7 days until this thing gets rolling. I cannot wait for. I'm just really hoping these days just fly by because I'm so pumped. I really cannot wait to see what unfolds. Especially because the New York Jets have like 80 to 90 million dollars in cap space available. So I'm really hoping it's an exciting offseason. And in this video, I feel like sharing with you my personal list of free agents set to or players set to hit the open market that I really feel like the New York Jets should go out and try to make a push and acquire. I really do think there are some quality players that are going to be hitting the open market this season. So before I get into my list, I feel like I just need to say two things. Number one, I'm going to leave Kirk Cousins off the list. Why? Because I feel like every single football fan knows that the New York Jets are going to be making a huge push for him, and the Jets are obviously very interested. And then number two is I've never really been the biggest fan of winning the offseason, where a team just goes out and spends every single dime available on big name free agents, almost like you're trying to get headlines or you're trying to get people to talk about them on TV and write articles about them. And basically the whole mindset behind that idea is, let's go win the Super Bowl this season. If we can't, let's just blow it up at the end of the year. I've never really been a huge supporter of that idea, if you know what I mean. I've always liked to analyze my roster, kind of address the needs accordingly through the free agent market. If you can get good players for good deals, I know it's hard not to overpay in this day and age, and especially if you're a team like the New York Jets, who, to say the least, they're not the most successful team as of late. So you might have to overpay, and that's okay. But as of right now, I really just like the idea of building through the draft and addressing needs through the free agency market accordingly, not just spending every single cent you have in one off season and just saying, here we go, this is 1 year, make it or bust. So never really been a big fan of that. So let's get started with the list. The first player I kind of want to get into is cornerback Malcolm Butler from the New England Patriots. Now, this is a guy who's been in headlines recently, the whole Super Bowl benching, and Bill Belichick has had it up to here with him and stuff like that, and they're going to part ways. The New England Patriots, I really do think that they didn't handle the situation correctly. I think it goes back to when they said, Malcolm Butler, you're not good enough, we're going to bring in Stephon Gilmore, and they overpaid for him, something that the Patriots don't really do, and Malcolm Butler, I believe, outperformed him, and they still kind of treated him or pushed him in the corner. I think this is a rare opportunity for the New York Jets to get a disgruntled player leaving the New England Patriots, because you don't really see that happening. You see the players wanting to go play for New England. You don't see players pissed off at the organization, not liking Bill Belichick and what they have going on over there, wanting to leave. I think, is there a better team to go to than the New York Jets that would, I guess, give Malcolm Butler a prime opportunity to rub it in New England's face? This is what you're missing. We play them twice a year, division rival. The fans don't like each other, the players don't like each other, the coaches don't like each other. So I think there's just some bad blood there, and I would just love that, the alpha dog on defense, Malcolm Butler, a scrappy style of player on our defense. Not to mention, I do believe he's a cornerback number one. I think he does a really good job of following the number one weapon on opposing offenses. And, you take a look back at Todd Bowles' tenure with the Arizona Cardinals. They had one of the game's best in Patrick Peterson. When Todd Bowles has a dominant cornerback, or not a dominant cornerback, but a solid starting number one corner on the team, the defense you just have so much more flexibility as a defense, total, So I really like Malcolm Butler. I would love it if he becomes a New York Jet. Next player I kind of wanted to get into is wide receiver Allen Robinson. This is another guy who is, I just really like the idea of him signing to the green and white. He's a wide receiver that has a nice combination of size and speed. He wins at the 50-50 balls. He's a fantastic red zone threat. Granted, he is coming off a ACL injury, so that's always a red flag. But I think right now the New York Jets are financially in a position to offer him a nice deal and not say to him, you basically tore your ACL. We're not going to offer you less. We're going to pay you like a number one wide receiver. And I think that could give a little bit of leeway to the Jets as far as him deciding what team to go to. Now, I know the front runners for Allen Robinson are the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers, because they, of course, lack the number one wideout and they have a lot of money to spend, want to get Jimmy G some weapons. But I think right now, if the New York Jets can land Allen Robinson, I think that would be huge. You know, you're looking at a wide receiving core of Robinson, Anderson, and Curse, possibly even a Nunwa, and we still have the draft to go through too. So there's a lot of I really like this wide receiving room for the New York Jets, and if we were to add A-Rob, a proven number one guy who's not even in his prime yet, he's only 24 or 25, I think, right now. I think he's the same age as Robbie Anderson, to be honest with you. That could be huge. You know, he's not even in his prime of his career, and he's a household name. He really is. So Allen Robinson, I think he would also make the quarterback's job really easy, or easier, you know, no matter if it's a rookie quarterback, if it's McCown, or if it's Kirk Cousins. So love the idea of signing Allen Robinson. Another guy I want to quickly mention is running back Carlos Hyde. Now, I know a lot of you guys could disagree with me on Carlos, but I think Carlos has a nice combination of agility. Like, he's quick, he just seems really shifty in open field, but he also brings power. He's a bruising back, which I've always, even back at Ohio State, I've always liked Carlos Hyde. I've just really loved the combination of the power and the agility. He's always just came off to me like a very versatile back that can also be your lead horse back. You know, you can work him, you can run him between the tackles, you can also throw the ball to him, and he's also pretty good at picking up blitzes and pass protection as well. So I like Carlos Hyde, and I think in a negotiation setting, you can say to him, you know, we could get running back value in the third round, in the fourth round, in the fifth round. We could get a starting running back production in the later rounds of the draft. So I think financially, the New York Jets can maybe sign a very good back in Carlos Hyde to a cheaper deal, because the New York Jets have the leeway of saying, we can get a running back in the third round and possibly have starting running back potential, like Kareem Hunt, like Alvin Kamara, and whatnot. So a lot of possibilities, you know, with the running back position. Obviously, we have to address it. Powell and McGuire are the only two running backs on the roster right now, I believe, because Matt Forte just retired. So those three guys, I would really feel like the New York Jets should really focus in on. Another guy is center Ryan Jensen from the Baltimore Ravens. This is a guy who I've never really dove into his tape. I've never really kind of watched how good of a player he is. I've never really appreciated him, never really took the time to go out and watch him, but I know from, you know, people on Twitter, other football fans, my friends, you guys, you know, some of you guys rave about him. This guy is the truth. This guy is a dominant center, and Baltimore is crazy for letting him hit the open market. He is an instant upgrade over Wesley Johnson. I am totally with it. Granted, I saved him for last because I've never really watched him play, to be honest with you guys. But from what you guys have told me and what I've heard, I guess around the league, is that this guy's dominant and that the Ravens are just nuts for letting him go. So huge upgrade. It would also boost the interior of the offensive line. Nick Mangold was great. He was a Jets legend, but we haven't had the same production since he's left. Wesley Johnson, it just wasn't there. So we need to upgrade. We have to. So we could address that through, free agency or the draft. Those guys, I really do feel like the New York Jets have a good chance of getting. I really feel like they'd fit the system. I just really think those four guys would be the main ones that the New York Jets should go out and target. Now, I know I'm probably missing a few, and of course, I want to throw some honorable mentions in the list as well. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins. Really liked him back at Clemson and Buffalo, but he's kind of a shell of himself now, and I think he's going to demand a little bit more money than a Allen Robinson, because he played and he had a pretty solid season with the Rams, and I know the Rams want him back. Another guy is Trumaine Johnson, who I think is a perfect fit for the Jets system, but I think he's expressed publicly that he wants to remain in California, and the Oakland Raiders are the favorite for him, as well as the San Francisco 49ers. So Trumaine Johnson, Sammy Watkins, we can maybe even look, who are a couple other guys around the league? I know there might be a few linebackers out there that the Jets have their eye on, maybe a few guards. Yeah, I know we were talking with former Giant at the Combine, Weston Richburg, I believe his name was, who I've talked to some Giants fans, and they didn't necessarily give him the glowing reviews, so I don't really know how I feel about that. But the Jets have prime opportunities this offseason to increase the talent on this roster without it hindering any long-term plans. You know, we wouldn't be trading away, like giving away a ton of assets. We wouldn't be trading away best players or anything like that to acquire talent. Nothing like that. We have the funds to spend, and I just can't wait for them. So let me know down in the comment section your guys' thoughts on a couple free agents that you want the Jets to go out and target this offseason, because it's going to be great, and I really hope I'm not, let down as a Jet fan. So I've been waiting for it, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and go Jets.